What? They do. They got small boobs.
Finland's got big boobies.
She's Chinese. Since Goto left, there hasn't been a big boob in the place for years. I'm feeling a little more Reina right now.
You can't be Reina. Maybe you can be Reina.
Welcome to Morning Musume Monday! Watashi wa Jake!
Watashi wa Jeremy!
And today we will be reviewing
Resonant Blue.
Help me!
Resonant Blue is the very first single where we have seen the leads clearly defined and everybody else clearly defined.
We had another Abe and the Abet situation 5 years later with Ai, Koharu, Reina, and the Ko-Ai Renettes.
Or the Renaikos.
It was very much Ai, Reina, Koharu, and Morning Musume. They don't even feel like the same group
They
anymore.
don't feel unified anymore.
I was really bugged to death with Reina this video.
Really?
The whole time. She looked gorgeous. She looked gorgeous.
So pretty.
But
And she had her twin tails.
and she had her
I
twin
love
tails
those.
instead of the giant side ponytail, and there weren't a lot of bows.
There were
so,
no bows.
You know, I'm pleased. But just her face this video,
She looked over it.
it was so phenomenally bitch face. I couldn't even. Like, it wasn't just like, it wasn't Reina bitch face. It was, if she had penciled on her eyebrows
She
any
looked like
sharper.
a chola.
She had chola eyebrows this
She had
video.
chola eyebrows.
They were like, there wasn't like an arch, it was an angle. It was like, I was a pyramid, isosceles triangle, 90-degree angle, whatever you want. Those were chola bitch face eyebrows, and they did not help at all. And she just didn't look into it. Although, I will say, I really did like this song. I thought this was a really cute little song. I liked it a lot. Help me, help me, help me. I didn't really like the English lyrics so much.
The English was awkward in it. I think it didn't really seem in place for the rest of the song.
It was disjointed, it was awkward, and honestly, it's lyrics I've heard so many other times from Tsunku, you know what I mean? This is one of those songs where it's like, I have no desire to know what the translation is while I'm listening to it. I just rather make up my own meanings, or just focus on the help me, help me, help me. Once again, I am sad that Lin Lin and Junjun are cast aside.
They were on the side,
Like
the
so
back
much
side
garbage.
of the dance shot, and off in the corners, and they were hardly in the shot because they were always in those corners.
I thought Lin Lin got more FaceTime than Junjun did.
A little bit. I just think that what is most unfortunate about this particular music video, in the opening of the song, Aika, Junjun, and Lin Lin are both in the front triangle, and they kind of start off the dance, and then they move into their places in the back and disappear for the rest of the video. Aika is kind of behind everybody else, so you see her popping out behind Koharu's head every once in a while, but for the most part you don't really see them. So I think that was most disappointing, is that they start off that beginning and then they disappear, and it kind of just leaves you like, oh wow, why is the 8th gen not here at all? I really do like the lyrics. Resonant Blue is a song that I didn't like for the longest time because I thought I heard it too much, and I think that I'm just noticing how poetic it is and how much I like it. The sadness resonates through the night, the tight grip comes around me.
I'm going to disagree, and I'm going to say that I thought the lyrics were very typical Tsunku, and so because of that, I kind of wasn't that interested in them.
I do agree though that there should have been more soloists, but what can you do? This is the time where Tsunku's pushing people who he thinks are going to be the best, and where UFA is backing him up, and nobody's really complaining at this point.
I think this is probably the best Morning Musume has sounded as a group. I think vocally, right now, the Platinum era is one of the stronger sounding all-around eras. I think they've had strong voices in the group in the past. There were too many different levels. Like, even though you had a strong voice here, you had a weak, underdeveloped voice here, and it, you know, it wasn't uniform. I think now, even though some of the girls don't have the best voices, even now, I think with this era, they're the best sounding overall.
This particular single has more music videos and more perspectives than ones we've seen in the past.
Didn't like any of them.
And, oh, okay, I was just wondering what you were thinking about them. Because we had the dance shot version, then we had the dance practice version, which was interesting because they've never included practicing for the dance in the music videos before. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting odd, it didn't really connect very well with it.
None of them did.
And then you have the night version, which I guess made a little more sense in comparison to it, but each girl was off doing her own thing, and so I guess it kind of gave you this feeling of everydayness, or at least that's what they were trying to go for, but I don't think it really translated out well into the context of the song. You have Ai-chan who's working out, and she's on a bike, which clearly has been sponsored. This whole music video was sponsored by Dickies. And then you have Reina who's walking through a dark tunnel.
Like a hooker.
And then standing near a bunch of bikes. And she got the last shot, which I thought was interesting, because Reina usually doesn't get the last glance. It's usually Ai-chan that gets the last glance.
I felt awkward.
It did.
Because she was like not doing anything. She wasn't even pouting. She was just like staring down the camera with her chola eyebrows, like.
And then smirked and turned around.
And it's really hard to connect with her and watch her. Like, I felt like I should be like interested in why is she standing there, why is she looking at the camera, why is she walking away. Instead, I literally felt like she gave me the finger. That's just how she comes across in all of her shots right now. It's just like, it's like every shot, like you got eye like this and got eye like this, and then Reina, like, it just, as a viewer, it alienates me. She alienates me. She comes across as too cold and not in like the sexy bitchy way.
Like Miki was.
Yeah, there's no, frigid bitch. Even I think
Yuko was kind of like that too.
She was a little bit of a frigid, ice queen, but there was like that smirk in the eyes, and you were like, ooh, she's so kind of mean, but you know what? I dig it.
Yeah.
Reina's just like, ooh, she's mean. And I don't know, she's still young, so maybe she's just learning how to
translate that
and get that.
And then Koharu in her scene was in interview?
She was being interviewed.
It looked like she wrote a book. She was like in a library or something, right? It really stood out from the other ones in like a where did that come from kind of thing. And then you have Junjun and Lin Lin, two Chinese girls sitting in a Chinese restaurant ordering Chinese food.
And being so happy about it.
Like, okay, if they were gonna have them eating food, like they could have at least done what they did to Eddie and Sayu, like stick them in an amusement park or something and have them like eating something fun, not being like, ooh, the Chinese girls. Where are we gonna send them? Chinese restaurant.
The dance shot version was boring because it was just a dance the whole time, and it had its nice moments. There was moments where it was like some really cool choreography, especially when they were in the line and they were all moving. But for the most part, it just got boring after a while because this song is rather repetitive, and then the dance was very repetitive. So
it's a 5-minute song.
It's a 5-minute song, and then the night shot version, none of it had anything to do with the song. And then the rehearsal dance shot version would have been cool spliced with the full dance version, but even then it had nothing to do with the song. Which, I mean, not a lot of Morning Musume videos do, but I would have loved this if it had been like a ballad, like a power ballad of women empowerment, or like getting over somebody.
So now it's time for our replying to your comments from last week. Last week we asked you guys, why are you laughing at me? Last week we asked you guys two things. I asked if you thought that Mikan should have been the lowest single, and Jacob asked if you agreed or not with our diagnoses of the girls in Morning Musume.
Well, here's your responses then. I specifically wanted to comment on the Nerd Brigade 101's comment. I actually like Reina's bitch persona, lol. It makes her more interesting when you actually see her interacting with the other members. Does that make sense? Yes, it does, and that's exactly what I said today, was when I see her in the shows, like interviews and stuff, talking with the other girls and, throwing her witty remarks out, she's great. But when I see her in the music videos, the bitch persona just comes across as bitch. And it's hard to get into it. So thank you for validating my feels. You all seem to agree that, yeah, this was a low selling, this BZ was low. However, you
didn't really deserve it.
You didn't deserve it, which I don't think it did either.
I think Pyoko was by far worse than
Pyoko!
You haven't heard Pyoko Ultra yet, but you will. Eventually you will.
So, Baba!
So this week we want to ask you guys,
how are you feeling about the way the group has seems to be moving in a single where you've got clearly defined leads and backup members. Does it make you angry? Do you agree with it? Because technically I and Reina are some of the stronger vocals in the group with very distinct personalities. Are you opposed? Are you undecided? Do you think that it should be different girls in the lead? Tell me your feels.
And I want to ask if you guys felt the feeling of resonance that this single is supposed to have given you out.
Well, this has been Morning Musume Mondays. Watashi wa Jin.
Watashi wa Jin. I'm Jeremy.
Arigato.
We'll talk to you all next week when we review Peppa Kebu. What's that song?
I am not your puppet. Do not puppet me.
Peppa Kebu.
Stop. Jeremy will see you tomorrow on his channel for.
Sandra Lee may make an appearance.
Jeremy or Sandra may see you tomorrow on his channel. I will see you Friday, where it will be a musical Friday, I think. So we'll talk to you then.
Peace out.
What?
Digamos.
What? Stay tuned for Roman and Tsunku. Ah, yes, everything is going to plan. Soon Reina will be the star. And I can put her in giant bows with glitter in her hair. And who's there? Come in. What?
What took you so... What is that on your head?
Hat.
What is this?
I was using it to tease the girl's hair.
Migaki looked wonderful this time, didn't she?
She did. Stop it! I haven't washed it yet.
Don't!
Tsunku, we need to talk.
About what?
You seem angry at me this week.
I have been.
I'm trying to make you look pretty!
I don't need your help.
Give me back my teeth and comb.
What I do need your help in is in costumes.
Yes?
I'm tired of songwriting, and I'm thinking about giving up soon.
No! You mustn't stop. The songs you write are a gift to the world, to Japan, to everybody.
I'm done.
No.
I'm doing a remake of an old 70s song, an old song, by Pink Lady. And so I need green costumes. Green 70s disco costumes with tassels and beads. Nigaki and Aichan will be in the front.
What about Reina?
Reina will be in the middle. And she'll have the whole center of the cover album. I can see it now, a gigantic star with my rising star. With a big bow.
I can do that.
Junjin and Lin don't know what to do with them yet. I'll see you next week, Roman.
I think. Send Juju and Li back to China. All that matters is my Reina and her giant bows. Disco?